program history, kind of our youth structure, how we've gone about things at the youth level through the years, just a rundown of what we do at the high school level, the relationship of those two programs from top to bottom, and how we continue that through the years. And this, in my opinion, most importantly, just your support system. So that's not just your support system for your program, but your support system at home too, because that's a huge key, something that I don't think we talk about enough as coaches. Just getting that balance of putting so much time into this, making sure that things are taken care of, at home and with family too, because you can lose sight of one or the other pretty easily. So we'll touch on that again. If you guys have any questions during this at all, please don't hesitate to interrupt. I'm going to ask questions of you at the end, what you guys do, because I want to take advantage of my time up here and hopefully get some ideas from you as well. We're always looking to get ideas and grow and do what we can. So our timeline of our program. So Fritz and Naomi Miller started this program. Obviously, all of us here already have programs as part of our football clinic. If you ever know of anybody looking to actually start a program from scratch, these are the people to get a hold of, and I will swear by that until the end of my time. They're phenomenal. It's it's something that isn't easily taken on. A buddy of mine heard about the program started, knew I had coached up in Brewer before moving down to Waldoboro, and he mentioned that they were having a meeting, so I attended the second meeting. Not really expecting much, to be honest. Again, starting a program from scratch. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen, but I'll go listen. I came away from it like anybody that meets Naomi does, and just said this is going to happen. Lady doesn't take no for an answer, and what they've done and what our program has done up to this point is just a reflection of them and them starting it. So those of you that play against us at the youth level now, our youth field is named after them. Just kind of a way to remember their legacy. We were fortunate to have them for about 10 years, 11 years roughly, before they retired from it. So again, it's incredible. So our first season, 2011, started K through 8. This was all at the club level. No middle school didn't have anything to do with school. We had no high school program at that time. Jason and I coached the middle school team that year. We played 7th grade teams from Brunswick and Mount Ararat. We played China club team. We played Camden back then. Just whatever games we could get just to get things going. I think we had about 22 kids, one of which had ever played a snap of football in his life. So truly starting from scratch. 2012, we had the high school club team. We were fortunate enough to be able to practice on the campus of the high school 3 days a week. We competed in the Greater New England Football League, which is still going on today. You'll see club teams from Berlin, New Hampshire, Caribou, Maine. Madawaska was in that league. Holton was in it at one time. China still has a club team as well. So again, just different way to go about things, but basically our program came about because Lincoln County, Naomi and Fritz's oldest son was playing for Lincoln County's club team, and again, they wanted a place where their kids could play where they were in high school, and obviously got us going. So 2014, very important date for us. We were approved by our high school just as a club team. Coach Sinclair may remember this year, Holton joined the MPA as a varsity team, which created a bye week for the LTC. So Dan O'Connell called me up, said, we got a bye week, are you guys interested? We had success in our club league. I said, Dan, with all due respect, I don't know. I know it's what we need to do, but that's a huge jump. Going from playing these club teams to playing real school teams. Greatest decision we ever made. He assured us that everything would go fine, and it did. Again, it's because of coaches like Coach Sinclair, Coach O'Connell. Again, making that happen. We actually played Orono that year. Coach, you had a de facto playoff game, last regular season game that year against John Baps. We were scheduled to play us the week before. Washington Academy had canceled on us, so we figured Orono might too, and we would certainly understand that if they did. Coach Sinclair said, no way in hell we're playing. We went up to Orono and played a half of varsity football, a half of JV football. Again, I'll never forget that. Those are the type of things it takes in our football community to make things happen. Kind of piggyback on what Mr. Fuller said, and just again, this sport takes care of each other. So in 2015, our school board approved us as a varsity sport. We didn't think that was going to happen. We had over 300 people show up to a school board meeting, which any of you that have been to a school board meeting, they're not very well attended, including budget meetings. They get like 2 people. They actually had to move the location of the meeting 3 times. But again, it's powerful, right? You get 300 people up there in front of people that are running for a seat and want to stay on that seat, and all of a sudden they vote for whatever those 300 people are there for usually. So it worked out. So back then you had to play down in class if you were able to do so. So we played down in Class D for 2 years. We were in D North our first year, went 6-2, had a good year. Played Ellsworth in a exhibition game after the season. That was something we did each of our first 2 years to get into that kind of playoff mode. The next year we were in D South, went 1-6 down there, so we got knocked back to reality. A great learning year for us, and played John Baptist in a de facto playoff league game at the end of the year. So again, just a rundown of our history, our short history. So youth structure. So again, K to 8 from the start up until 2022. That was when our school system took over our middle school. It took a while to make that happen. Probably would have happened earlier, but we kind of got pushed back. Again, Naomi was still in charge at the time. That was kind of the last thing they were trying to do before getting done. So credit to Naomi. She went directly to the superintendent of schools and said, "Look, we've had a middle school program for 10 years now. What are we doing here? Basically, shit or get off the pot." The superintendent said, "Yeah, why haven't we done this yet?" So they took it over. Again, huge steps. So now our middle school plays right on campus, same field as our high school does. Our youth still plays at Union Elementary School on Miller Field. But just having that, that takeover by the school financially is just a huge thing. Any of you that have had to pay for buses for your middle school program and all those things, if you have the school take that stuff over, it's more money that we can spend on the stuff we want to spend it on, football specific stuff. So currently we're K to 6. We have a K to 2 Pee Wee team. Then our other 2 teams are 3, 4, and 5, 6. First few years we competed in the Southern Maine Football League. Any of you that have been down to play us at the high school or middle school level, or been to Oceanside, the mid-coast is kind of off the beaten path. I know Coach Calant loves that drive. Always looks forward to it every year. Yeah, it's not an easy place to get to, so we're kind of in between, right? So that first year we played in Smithville. That's what Rockland had done at the time, so we joined there as well. Naomi spearheaded creating the Coastal Youth Football League. So it was us, Oceanside, Camden was playing 11-man at the time, Lincoln County still had their program, Booth Bay. We had enough teams, Belfast in there as well. We had enough teams in the area where we could get a good schedule and travel. That league's kind of started falling off a little bit. Camden went to completely 8-man from youth all the way up. Lincoln County's program dissolved. They didn't get any support at the high school level, so they were just K through 8, and then kids stopped playing because they didn't have anywhere to go. So they dropped out. Booth Bay was hit or miss with their numbers. Their high school enrollment is pretty small, so they struggle at times to get numbers. So there's 4 of us left at the end, right? So it's Belfast, us, Oceanside, and was it 3 or 4? Who am I missing? But there are only 3 of us. Yeah, so we had that Bible. That's right. So we're down to 3. That's what it was. Wow. So last year, I talked to Kyle Glant up at Herman during the off season and just got some information on the Eastern Maine Football Youth Football League, what they were looking at. They had lost some teams as well, teams going to 8-man or different situations. So we reached out, had an off-season meeting, and we're fortunate enough to join with them for this past season. It's a great thing. So now we play, when we're at C North, we're playing the same teams from 3rd grade up through high school, which is a huge thing. We want those kids to get to know each other. Again, the uncertainty in football and all the changes that we've gone through the last few years, we felt if we could get some consistency and a little bit of control on our end of who we're playing and seeing some of the same teams, we know that's going to change at times, But for last year and this year coming up, I mean, we're playing Hampton, Herman, Brewer, you know, Nokomis, Oceanside, all those same teams, you know, all the way up through. So it's a great thing. It's been a great change. Just, you know, not only adapting to the changes, but just being proactive in what we can do to, you know, to do what's best for the kids and give them the challenges they need to keep going. So, and again, just to note at the end, our home field, Miller Field, named after the founders of our program. So, at the high school level, again, we dropped off at the first slide at 15, which is our first year. We played in D for 2 years. In 2017, we finally settled into a home in Class C North, which was a great thing. Because again, we had felt from playing, you know, the club league for 2 years, playing the LTC at the bye weeks for a year, and then, you know, we were in D North for 1 year when we were a varsity team, thinking, you know, hey, back-to-back years against the same teams, this is great. Boom, we're in D South, and then, you know, 17 we're in D, you know, C North. So, you know, as a coach, we're kind of like, who are we playing in 2018? But hey, it's a start, whatever. And thankfully, since 2017, we've stayed right in C North, which has been, you know, great to get to know, you know, not only the other programs, but the other coaches too, and build those relationships, you know, on our end. But yeah, we played Trape 1 year down at Kittery. We played at Madawaska as a club team. We played at Washington Academy, and thankfully Freiburg came to us, so we haven't hit the Western. So don't tell Fuller, I know the schedule isn't done yet. If I go to, I'm going to eat my words and go to Freiburg this year. So 17, we were playoff eligible for the first time and went 4-4. Missed out on the playoffs. Not everybody made it back then. We already qualified for the playoffs this year, right? All 6 of us. So yes, nice. Congratulations. So back then that wasn't the case. So we went 4-4. We actually beat John Baptist during the season. They went 3-5, but they went in as the 8th seed. So, but again, a great, you know, kind of carrot on the string for our kids. You don't just come in and, you know, stuff's laying out there and you have success. You got to work for it. So 18, we made the playoffs, played it in Nokomis in the snow. Cold day, but a great day. I mean, we lost, but it was awesome to, you know, get that taste. 19, made the playoffs again, played at Winslow. A tough place to play. I'll get to that later. Just kind of the strides that we look to make against teams like that. 21, obviously 20 into that season. 21, we were the 1 seed. Lost to Herman in the regional semifinals down in Bath. They came down and upset us. 2022, 1 seed again. We were able to get the regional title win and go to states and face obviously a very good Levitt team, one of the better programs in the nation. And then again, 23 this past year. I put Buckets anyway. You know, last year 2 seed, lost to our rival Oceanside in the regional game. They had a heck of a year last year. So again, just kind of, you know, making a step each year, trying to keep that consistency as best we can, you know, at the high school level with what we do with the youth. So, again, at the high school level, we fluctuated anywhere from 34 players, which we had last year, to a high of 53. We've had a JV schedule, a full JV schedule every year. I think we've missed 1 game. That was against Winslow. Again, I'll get to that, you know, that game later, but just some injuries and stuff like that. We didn't have enough. And I felt like shit about it because I've been a huge proponent of making sure we get those kids a game every single week, every single year, because they are working their butts off against our varsity guys. So that, you know, however many years we've had here, 10 years, because even when we were a club team, we had a JV schedule then as well. So just the importance of getting those guys minutes and games to keep them engaged, right? We do a Player of the Week award, so that's a 56 jersey. So this is for Brendan Lash, played at the Lobster Bowl for Coach Sinclair. You know, again, small jersey there, right? Small dude. He was a lineman, huge heart, small kid. Unfortunately, passed away. Had some, you know, tough battle with asthma and side effects of that. Had a real bad chronic case of it, and passed away after graduating. But got together with his family. And just, again, the way Brendan played the game, so he's a JV guy all the way up to his senior year. Senior year became a captain for us, was a starter as well on the defensive side of the ball. Again, small dude, but just played as hard as anybody we've ever had. So all these kids that have been through our youth program, they knew who Brendan was and what he, you know, what he meant, how he played the game of football. So we still give out that 56 jersey every week to the player or players. We've given it to our O-line some weeks. You know, whatever the guy or guys that played the game, you know, the right way and gave full effort, they get that 56 jersey. So that's something all the guys compete against each other for, strive for every week. You know, just kind of a reward we give to them. We recognize them on Monday. Actually, excuse me, Tuesday, because we JV games Monday. So we recognize that on Tuesday. We also do our sticker program on Tuesdays as well. So we have a sticker program based on game results that Coach Stewart, our defensive coordinator, came up with. He handles all that. We also give helmet stickers out to captains. You know, if they get good grades, if we get good feedback from the school. You know, if we happen to see something as simple as, you know, a kid just holding the door open for somebody, or, you know, taking care of a kid at school or something like that. Things that, you know, kids don't, in my opinion, get enough credit for now, right? We're kind of closed-minded on that at times, where we think kids are just, you know, lazy and all that. I don't think that's the case. I think we just don't, you know, we don't look for it enough and reward them enough. So, you know, again, our guys can earn those team stickers in multiple ways. We do our team dinners on Wednesdays. Coach Papo had that idea. We did that at Jay, if I'm not mistaken. So I love it, because I know when I was doing sports, I was eating mac and cheese and fried bologna the night before my games. That was my superstition. I obviously still like mac and cheese and fried bologna, but so if we do team dinner on Wednesdays, right, those guys can do their thing the night before the game, whatever their superstition is. Hopefully it's not going to the girlfriend's house until 3 in the morning, but you know, whatever they do, that works. So again, I love that teams do team dinner the night before the game too. It works for a lot of programs as well. We used to do it. We made the switch to Wednesdays, and it's worked great for us. So our parents, we started doing it outside during COVID. We still do it outside. We're now back to school. Works great. A couple of our parents have, one of them has a barbecue company, so they do a nice barbecue once a year. It's pretty sweet. So, but yeah, getting all the guys together every Wednesday after practice and just kind of reflecting on what we've done so far this week, what we're doing going forward, you know, coming together as a group. So. Coach Bob was going to talk about a couple things he's done in addition to players and what he's done with our weight room. So he's our only staff member in school. The rest of us are out of school. I'm a sales rep for Frito-Lay. Jason works at the prison in Warren. You know, his son helps on game days. He works down in Scarborough. He drives out for games. We've got a couple other guys that are in the fishing industry, which is obviously big in our area. So we got one guy in school who connects with kids all day, and God bless him for that, because when I stop in for 20 minutes, I about lose my mind. So I don't know how he does it for the full day, but no, it's been huge. We got a bunch of kids because of it, and you'll see on a couple slides what he's done for the weight room for us, and we'll kind of hit on that weight program as well. So.
Yeah, so again, just touch on the Wednesday dinner. One of the reasons I felt we needed to change it too is because, for those who've been there, we have the portable lights. So like on home games, guys would stick around, we'd go to practice, we'd do team dinner, and then some of the guys would stick around to set up the lights. So they're leaving school to get to school for 7:30, and they're not getting home until 9 the day before a game. I just don't see the benefit in that. Get them home, let them catch up on some homework and stuff. Yeah, so I showed up in 2019. You know, we were pretty competitive. We probably weren't at the top against, you know, Winslow, which was kind of a watershed moment for us, right? They come down. Luckily for us, we got Winslow scheduled on homecoming, and they throttle us 76-6, and they just manhandle us everywhere. Of that team, our two best players were Drew Severson and Eric Benner, two of the strongest guys, right? So, as a teacher, our facility is set up great. The equipment in there was dated, and it had, no one wanted to really be around it, right? You know, we had cables that, you know, tape over it, don't use. So I knew we had an opportunity there. So I remember as soon as the season ended, a bunch of the guys said, hey, we want to start lifting. All right, well, we'll try to make that happen. So I met with the principal, our AD, Coach Snell was there, and I said, we got to find some funding because we got to step this up. If we really want to take the next step, one, for football, selfishly, two, as a PE teacher, I want to have a nice area to go work out in, myself and teach in. So luckily, the school had already purchased the Bigger, Faster, Stronger program. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it was a canned program. I've tried other programs. We got Platform. I thought with the technology, it spits out numbers immediately to kids. So they do so many reps, bang, bang, it shows them what they should do the next rep. Our kids did not really buy into it, scrap it, we weren't gonna waste any more money on it. If I can get them in there lifting, we're all set, right? And I'll try to pull in any kid that we can. Athlete, non-athlete, basketball player, baseball player, doesn't matter. Male, female, I want them in there. And I'm gonna try to recruit kids to come out and play football, right? We gotta build up our numbers. It helped us, especially in that first year, right? So we come back from COVID, suddenly we have 3 or 4 basketball players come. Yes, they may not be the greatest football players, but we can make it work with them. So this is kind of where we started when I got there. We had one small squat rack. We had about, I'll say a list of 40 kids that we were taking numbers on as far as their reps numbers. And I'll tell you what, school day ends at 2, 4 o'clock I'm walking out of there because kids are waiting around to get in a squat rack. And I'm like, we gotta change that. So luckily right out of the gate, talk to a football booster. They say, no problem, we'll get you a squat rack. We'll take care of that. Then COVID happens. In the meantime, they had already discussed giving us funding to put some of this, now we have, well, 2 two-sided racks and still the small one facing another way, so we can get quite a bit done all at once. That was great, but now it's COVID. We can't be inside. So the good news is all this questionable equipment that we had is now sitting out in the garage. And during COVID, when we couldn't go inside, we had our little Venice beach out there, right? We had weights. We were able to lift, everyone had masks on, everyone spread out in our back parking lot. And that was just another thing to kind of keep it going. I will say, leaves a little bit left to be desired as far as getting team lifting in. But with this here, I know we have kids now. They're either at Zebon Fitness in Warren, or they are at Panthers Gym in Waldoboro. I'm not like following them around to make sure they're going there, but you can talk to different kids and you can find out who's lifting, community members. So we have kind of gotten to that point where our athletes kind of know, hey, it's time to start lifting if you want to do something. It shows every day on the stat sheet. The kids that show up, the Aaron Reeds, pretty good. Marshall Addy for us, right? Those are guys that both got state recognition. And they put time in the weight room during the school day, and then especially on their own time. So again, this is a great place to foster relationships. Just in general, jump in, do a couple sets with the kids. Yeah, I'm not in the greatest shape of my life, right? But they enjoy having those conversations. Oh, I bet you can't do that. Okay, we will see, right? And you get that. I would like to try to get some more kids to come out and participate for us. Again, it's a numbers game too. You get a kid as a freshman, I bet by some point over those next 4 years we can find a way to make them useful on a football field. Again, so we've done pretty well. It's been fun to put it together, and then it's been fun to put it to use too. So hopefully it's had some success in our ability to run the football and play some defense. So, anything else you want?
No, thank you. Yeah, to Coach's point too, I mean, it's, we'd love to do the 6 a.m. team lift, or get everybody there after school, or hold them accountable. I know one program is able to do that. They actually give out jerseys, first pick of jerseys, captaincy, all of that based on weight room attendance. So I mean, and hey, if that works for you or for them, that's awesome. It doesn't work for us. We got guys that are going to school every other day because their work school program, they're able to get their classes done on blue day or gold day, whatever it is. And the other day they're going to work, which for most of the guys at Medomak Valley, or a lot of them, especially the friendship guys, their day of work is going to haul on their boat that they already own, and they're pulling into practice with nicer trucks than any of the coaching staff. So are they going to come in and lift, or are they just going to go make, whatever you make on a lobster boat? I know it's a lot from our donors, but yeah, so it's, we take what we can get. I mean, I think that was one of the biggest things I took from Dave Morris when I coached from him. Coached with him at Brewer in baseball. Dave's the Bangor football and baseball coach now, but just kind of that glass half full guy with what kids can do. Just not focusing on what you want to get the kids to do, focusing on what they do well, and utilizing that to the best of your abilities. I mean, there was times where I'm coaching with Dave, we're in Legion, and he's got a kid pitching. Ben Davis was the kid's name. Ben's outdoorsman now, hikes, all that stuff. Great kid, just, you know, ton of confidence in himself. I'm sitting there catching Ben in a bullpen session. And I was probably 22 at the time. I had just moved back from Springfield College, finished up at Husson, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. I'm sitting there catching Ben, and I'm like, how the fuck is this kid gonna pitch in a Legion game? Like, there's just no way. But again, that's a 22-year-old me who still thinks I'm a great baseball player, you know, just being pig-headed about it, right? But Coach Morris, it was like, no, this kid, he put so much confidence into that kid, and what, you know, whatever his abilities were, or limited abilities were, however you want to put it. Ben went out, was like, he was our best reliever that year, and that was on a Brewer Legion team that was state runners-up to one of the, who the heck were the Portland teams back then. It wasn't Nova, it was the other one that year, Andrews Post, right? Yeah. So we were state runner-up to Andrews Post, and Kevin McAvoy and those guys on the team. So, but yeah, Ben, I'm like, there's no way Ben's pitching at a Legion level, and he did. But that was just one example of what Coach Morris did. That was really an eye-opening moment for me. That I still remember, you know, 20 years later, just to focus on what these kids do well and what they're willing to give you, right? We know not every kid's going to come in and lift like Marshall and Aaron did, but the kids that somewhat do it or do it good enough, we're going to find out what they're good at, utilize that to the best of, you know, our ability to make us successful as a team. So again, not just don't focus on trying to push, you know, push something that ain't going to happen. It's just wasted energy, right? Big on using, you know, utilizing your energy for what you can do. It's the best for your program. So our relationship from the high school to youth level. So player involvement is huge. You know, Naomi and Fritz always ran the youth camp, and we would help as coaches, and it was a phenomenal thing all the way up through. We always had big participation. When they retired, we switched it up a little bit. We just want to put a different wrinkle on it. So our high school guys run our summer camp now. It's free. We don't charge anything. If I can get a couple sponsors, we do. If not, we just, you know, pay out of our high school account. We have 3 stations, very simple: blocking station, tackling station, and then we have a run pass combo station. So we do those 3 stations all 3 days of camp, and then we do 7-on-7. You know, panther ball, however you want to put it. Everybody does, right? Razzle dazzle. We've all done it. So just we do that at the end of each day. The kids get out there. The high school kids have a group. They have, you know, their teams play against each other. We have our risk QBs that we use at the high school level, and we run our pass plays, and the kids see it. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm back here.
Sorry, that was
Coach, that's the most help you got at Herman.
choking out here. Yeah.
It's that Waldeboro air.
Coach Glantz hydrating for later. So.
Just want you to remember that this year.
Yes. Thank you. I'm gonna give you 2 glasses of water, so you give Bud like 5 less carries. So yeah. 7-on-7 at the end of each day, risk QBs. We do have pass plays, believe it or not. We have a whole sheet of them. So the kids line up, they see their route, they think it's cool as hell, right? They're wearing a risk QB like the high school guys do. They run their routes, they compete, they have fun, they tell their buddies in school, they come back the next day. Again, it's free, so we get a lot of kids there. They're at 70 something, whatever, which is a lot for us down in our area. Last year, and again, it went well. The high school kids are there in their jerseys, so the kids recognize who they are, right? They can't see them during the games because their helmets are on, so I have that number, right? Marshall, number 55, he was there, right? Liam, number 3, he was there. And these kids know and they recognize it. My son's in 2nd grade. He looks up to these guys a ton. He knows these guys, recognizes it. Same thing with Rowdy up here, right? See the guys, know what they're doing. So they coach our Pee Wee team, which is K-2. Or help with it. I mean, we have parents out there too, right? Pee Wee is insane, trying to corral everybody. So we got like 7 people out there doing it. But we have the high school kids at those practices, just trying to teach as best we can the basics of alignment, handing off, right? These are K-2 kids, so they're not remembering it 5-10 minutes later anyway, but neither do a lot of our high school kids either, so. But they're there, that's the big thing. And the parents on the hills see that, right? 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th grade kids see that as well. It's a big thing. So they do the chains at our home games. They come down to youth home games on Sundays, do the chains. Again, kids see that, parents see that, everybody in the program sees that, it goes a long ways. We do youth night, one home night a game a year, everybody does it, right? Get a big crowd there, the kids are there, they get announced at halftime, they run out onto the field. So we don't have lights obviously, we rent lights. I apologize to anybody that's had to play under them, but we rent lights 2 nights a year, construction lights. Big fundraiser for us basically, brings the community in. But for those youth kids to be able to be there, be under the lights, be announced on the midfield at halftime, that's a huge thing. And to those youth kids, those lights might as well be the big aluminum poles that you see at everybody else's field that has real lights, right? They don't know any different. They just know it's a night game, a ton of people are there, their name's announced, and they're running out on the field and they're loving it. So, huge thing. We try to add something every year. So our thought for next year, so our youth field is over in Union, which is like 15 minutes roughly away from the high school. We do 1 practice a week in Waldeboro at another school that's shut down, but it has a town field behind it. We're looking at bringing them right onto campus this year. So on Wednesdays, come right to the high school, practice on our high school practice field, which is that one right there. It's out front of our school. Again, COVID money, we were able to get a full-size field out front. High school and middle school practice on it. We want youth to come up once a week this fall and practice there as well. Everybody that pulls into the high school or the middle school all evening from the time school ends goes by that field, right? So selfishly, I want everybody that's pulling in to see it. I want them to see all the youth kids out there practicing. I want a kid that's going to middle school soccer to ask his mom why he can't be out there practicing football, why she's making him go out back to the middle school and play in a soccer game for an hour and a half and be miserable, right? I want to get them to football. So, and again, teams, people from other towns come over if they're playing, other teams that are practicing. We are the first thing that every person that pulls into Medomak Valley sees, and that's a great thing. It can be a tough thing too, right? High school guys peeling out after practice. We got to get a porta potty out there at some point. They can't keep running across the street, right? Gehagen every day, 42, jogging across the street to take a leak. I'm like, Porter, how they know that, Coach? Well, Porter, you get a jersey on, it says 42, and you're a big kid, so it's not like rocket science, but yeah, that's Porter. So, but again, to be able to be the first thing that they see, and to have that, it's just a huge thing, right? All that work that we did years ago just to get noticed, now we're the first thing that everybody does notice. So, but again, with that comes a lot of responsibility. We can mess that up pretty easily. If kids get in a fight in practice, everybody sees it. And the people that still hate football, which we have plenty of in our community, every community does, they're looking for that stuff too. So, but again, that's our plan this year, get the whole program up here. We're looking at, it might be tough to add them every week, but maybe once a month, or at least do a trial run once this year. We want to do a program-wide team dinner. So, again, it's a lot of kids, right? It's a lot of pizza, or probably the easiest thing. I don't know if anyone wants to make that much spaghetti, but that's a goal this year, at least one time, do a program-wide team dinner. So everybody's there, from K to 12. Every kid we have, they're having a team dinner. They can go out front and play 7-on-7 or 2-hand touch or whatever afterwards. But again, just something that gets everybody together, gets our younger kids with our older kids. It's a big thing, but we're going to do it. So whether everybody else likes it or not, I'll sit there and eat it. These guys will be there too. So support system, again, to me is the most important piece, you know, especially the last one, but at the program level, you know, school system is huge, whether you like administration or not, right? On the pay scale, I don't even, you probably have to go below the floor for a high school coach stipend, superintendent, way at the top, so whatever those people want goes. COVID year, I know I reached out to a bunch of you. I think I emailed the whole coaches chain. They were looking at shutting us down COVID year, right? And that was coming right from the superintendent, so there's nothing we could do. And I was pissed, and the kids were pissed, and the parents were pissed. But we had to go about it the right way, because the superintendent could have said, no, like, you're done, like, that's it. So what was going on is they were, the whole, whatever, vaccinated, unvaccinated stuff, with us being high risk, the way our superintendent was reading the thing was that if not every kid on our team is vaccinated, they would have to sit out. So, which again, we would have been the only school in the state doing that. We would have been, which, you know, you want to be leaders and stuff, that's probably not it, right? You want to be a leader and being the only school in the state not playing football in a year that we're doing everything we can to play football. So, and that was 21, the year after we came out COVID. So, anyway, had a meeting with the superintendent and the AD. You know, as a football coach, you can have a lot of pull in your, you know, in your town, in your community. So, double up, there you go. Yeah, double fisted for a while. But again, you're answering to people that make a hell of a lot more money than you, and are answering to a hell of a lot more people than you are. So, that year, our team, we had over 50 people with managers, players. We made up 10% of our student body was participating in the football program that year, because our enrollment's 540 or whatever it is. But, you know, again, if we didn't have that relationship built up with administration, things could have gone, you know, a tougher way. Same thing with getting the middle school taken over. The relationship we had with our AD, you know, he said yes right away to taking that over, and that's a huge thing. So, right, school board teachers, all that stuff, super important. We got, our school board is wild, but 12 people on that thing, I think. We have like the biggest school board in the state. I swear it's stupid, but we have been to more school board meetings than I want to count. Right, there's been some tough ones, but you know, again, whether I like those people or not, when I see them out in person, if they actually show up to our games, I'm going to be nice to them and thank them for coming. And because again, they can make our life miserable, you know, if they choose to. So we've been pretty fortunate, you know, over the years to have good relationships with them. And, you know, we actually have what, three football people on the board now, which is certainly a plus. So teachers too. Teachers can, you know, make it good, bad, you know, whatever they want, really, right? Grades. If you got kids that, you know, are disrespecting teachers and not doing the things they need to be doing in school, right? Your best guy, if they have a, you know, vendetta out against you, you know, that kid fails a class, they're out, right? So they can affect things as well. So again, just showing respect to that entire support system we have in the school, from the administrative level down to the teachers. So donors, a big one too. We're fortunate at Medomak to have 3 real key ones, and a bunch of others too, but you know, one of them just gave us $5,000 to get new headsets, do what we wanted with that, so whatever's left over from that, we'll put towards something else. You know, another one that donates ice shacks. Didn't realize ice shacks could be such a big fundraiser, but they are. So we have a guy that owns a trailer business with ice shacks, and he's donated 3 so far. We raffled them off and made some real good money. You know, again, just keeping in contact with those donors, keeping them informed of what's going on. They're in every town, so find them, right? You know, if you got a guy or a girl in the program that owns a business, they probably do better than you may think. Don't hesitate to talk to them, right? Bring it up. Small conversation, tell them some needs of the program. You never know who's listening or, you know, what they may be willing to do. And we found some of these people that way. I mean, we had a parent who owns a business. He bought an end zone camera for us last year. It was like $2,700. He said, "What do you need?" I said, "End zone camera. kind of expensive. He said, no problem, got it. So, whatever, right? Don't shoot low, shoot high, because they'll say no, then you can work your way down, right? And make sure you have that at the youth level too, making sure that the youth is also taken care of. Yeah, fundraising, we do it year round. Obviously, the kids can't do it this time of year, so it's a little tougher, but you know, we try to do our best. So yeah, at home, this is the biggest one for me. It's just, you know, like today, you know, I thought I'd be heading to Massachusetts. I'm gonna head later. They made it work out, so my family's gonna pick me up on the way down. My daughters have a dance competition down in Sturbridge. Don't be jealous. I know it's gonna be an awesome weekend for me, but it's important to be there to support them. They love it, but they were also, you know, excited that I was able to have the opportunity to come down here and speak as well. So guys brought me down. They're gonna pick me up on the way through, right? Make everything work. But you know, in the fall we're putting in a lot of hours, right? I mean, there's a ton of stuff. You know, with the girls doing dance, one of them does sports too. 4 days, 5 days a week, they're doing stuff. We got people in the community that help with rides. My wife's a teacher, teaches at elementary school, so she gets out a little later than the high school and middle school where my two daughters are at. My son's at the elementary school with her. But again, we figure out rides, people in the community help us out. If needed, you know, we got friends that go to dance, things like that. But, you know, find that balance too, right? We joke, we probably do on the lower end of, you know, hours compared to other staffs, I would bet. We do what works for us, and it's worked so far. In the fall, I mean, we do single sessions in preseason. We don't do doubles. We never have, never will, probably. I mean, we might add one or two here and there. We're always behind a little bit in preseason, but you know, as long as we're competitive in week one, that's what we, you know, strive for. You know, we don't do Sunday meetings. We talk every day. We talk every day, year round. You guys probably get sick of hearing from me, but you know, we don't meet in person on Sundays. That's just a family day for everybody. We use, you know, social media, all that stuff to communicate and go over things, right? Jason used to work overnights in the prison, defensive coordinator. He would probably watch more film than anybody I've ever known in my life, because what else do you do when all the prisoners are sleeping? You hanging out in your office, everybody's checked in, and you're on home, so it worked out good. But he would put together a game plan, run it by us, right? See what we thought, if we want to make any adjustments. And you know, as the years went on, again, he's been there since the beginning, so pretty much what he comes up with, we go with. Same thing, Ryan runs our offense. I don't run either anymore, which I know probably is, you know, not, you don't see that a lot at the high school level, especially in Maine, right? Usually a coach is running offense and defense or something. Not that I don't want them, I definitely want them, but I'm not a control guy. I want these guys to, you know, have a huge part of what we do, and it's worked for us. Ryan runs our offense, Jason runs the D, and I just show up and collect a huge head coach stipend. I don't know. But no, it's what works. We come up with game plans throughout the week. We talk, right? But we also make sure we have that balance for our family and stuff outside of football. And I know we would all love to be. I'd love to be at football 24/7, right? And I could, but I wouldn't have two daughters and a son and a wife by any stretch of the imagination. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, it's crazy to say it, but my oldest daughter, I got 2 years left, right? She graduates, she's a sophomore right now. She could move out 2 years and go do her thing, and that's it. It goes quick, right? Jason's son's a senior. His daughter's doing a fantastic job with the Air Force. She's out west. You know, he's got two little ones at home, so you know, again, family, you know, goes a long ways, and you have to have that support at home and that balance, and that can be easy to, you know, kind of lose track of or let go of and all that, especially if you're trying to do the high school and the youth stuff. So thankfully on the youth side of it, my middle kid likes being around. She likes working the concession stand for some reason. I don't know why, but she does. So she goes with me on Sundays, and my son plays and likes watching his buddy plays that are older. So he goes too. Got my oldest daughter to be a manager for our high school team this year. That was awesome. So she's not into sports at all, just does dance, unfortunately, 24/7. But got her to be a manager, and that was great to have her around, right, all fall. Middle child is a manager on the middle school team this year. So again, they get involved in it, they know that it's a big part of what we do, and they're supportive of it, but just don't let it encompass everything you do. And you'll know, if you guys are maybe just getting into it, or if you've been around for a while, guys that have been around for a while know, but you eventually you see there's things you worry about when you first start out, right? You're like, shit, I missed that. Like, we're screwed, I missed, whatever. You're not screwed. You might have missed it, but you're fine. It's going to take care of itself. And you see that more and more as you go through the years. Kind of less is more, if that makes sense. And again, the kids are putting in the work, like Coach said. Guys are at the weight room, for instance. They're at different weight rooms throughout town, doing their thing, and they're fine. They're taking care of it. It's going to take care of itself. So don't get into a situation where you're just micromanaging everything. It can eat at you. And it'll spit you up, or chew you up and spit you out, that's for sure. So if you want to do this for a while, I guess that's my biggest advice out of this whole thing. Just don't let it consume you. It's a big piece of what we do, but it's in a small amount of time, if that makes sense. So that's what I got for you guys. I want to, again, don't hesitate to reach out if any of you guys ever have any questions. I've gotten a ton out of this clinic through the years. Speaking is completely out of my comfort zone, but I want to do it because even if one person takes one thing out of what I've gone over, that's a huge thing, right? I always come down here trying to get one thing. Now we can take that to get better. We're always looking for how we can improve. And again, just to get a chance to get back to a little bit to a clinic that's given our program so much since we started in 2011. It's a great thing. So I'd love to take any questions, or I want to hear, if you don't have questions, I want to hear some things that you guys do, because I want to steal some ideas while I'm here.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I came in a little late, I apologize.
Yep.
You said you don't meet on Sundays?
Yep.
You meet on Saturday?
Nope.
So you don't meet on Saturdays either? So
Nope.
Friday night game, whatever, then
Yep.
weekend straight?
Friday night game, I go home, I upload film. I'm up until whatever, 2, 3 o'clock probably, doing stats and everything. I'd say 1 or 2, I guess. But I usually take a 2-hour nap. I work on Saturdays in the morning until about noontime roughly. And then, yeah, we send in the stats. We all watch film. Obviously with Huddle we can see what, make sure the kids are watching it as well. But we have a group chat. We just talk. We'll call if needed. As soon as we swap film, or our next opponent has uploaded it to the league locker, we start game planning for that. Again, Coach Stewart will go over the defensive stuff that he's looking at. He and I will talk if needed and adjust. We've been doing it together for whatever, 12, 13 years now. So
Did you always do it that way, or because I would think with a new staff, like me, going into my 3rd year, my staff is ever flowing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like chemistry that's created in those meetings, and there could be some underlying tension that's going on that you may not even know as a head football coach. You don't have a great relationship with your staff. I was just wondering how you maneuver and manage that.
Yeah, when we first started, we were in person more. At the time, I didn't, hitting on the family piece, I didn't have the 3 kids at the time when we first started. His kids were younger, but we would get in-person meetings and all that. So when you're first starting out, or if your staff is new, that's definitely a lot different if you don't have the year-long type stuff. Yeah, exactly. So you want to kind of get in person, get ahead of stuff, especially as you're getting a feel for each other and how you're going to work together. I'd be a little, not so much nervous, but you just don't know if you're having one conversation with one guy, he may talk to another guy, and then you're not on the same page. Exactly. So if you can get if you can meet, do it in person. Definitely.
And the other thing, I'm sorry if I missed, you mentioned fundraising.
Yep.
You have boosters and some on-site fundraising that don't include the boosters, and you have more control of those funds?
Yes, we keep our accounts separate. I know a lot of people will do the Help Youth account. We use that for high school stuff. We try to do our best to keep it completely separate. Our high school account, we have all sports boosters, and then we have that football, subline. They got that thing under lock and key. Like, I swear our school's still doing stuff like they did in the 70s or whatever, but I look at Tom because he's got to deal with it every day. But yeah, so anything that goes in there, our president has it, the secretary, our AD keeps a hand on it at all times as far as like what's going on. So what I've tried to do is, again, those donors that we have, I try to get them to, if they can give a significant donation to get specific items. I've tried to go that route as much as possible, and they've liked that too because they don't like.
So that money doesn't funnel into the booster?
Correct, yep. So if they donate over $1,000, it has to be approved by the school board, just so they know we're not getting money from whatever establishment or whatever it may be. But yeah, again, those donors, they don't really like the amount of control the school has on our account. They feel like if we get it, we should spend it. So I've tried to use that to our advantage, where they're giving more so we can get something. Like, yeah, we don't want it to go in there, give it directly as a donation. This is what we're going to get it for. So again, like the headsets, we looked at one of those Jack's tacklers that's new. So that $5,000 donation we just got, we're going to get the headsets for $3,850, and then one of those Jack's tacklers I think is like $1,200. So if there's a few bucks left over, we'll take it from our account. But yeah, just kind of like we try to do a good job of having that money spoken for before we even get it. So I'm always sending out wish lists to parents. This is what we want. This is what we're looking for, right? And then you put it out to, like, we're on Team Reach for a lot of our stuff. So if we put it out to our Team Reach account, one dad donates, other dad sees that, he's like, well, I've got money to donate too, so he's kicking in as well. So we kind of like play them off each other, so to speak. Okay. Yeah. You're up.
Hawks.
You're up. I got our logos.